One common question or concern that business owners have is around how much cash they should keep in their business. And at the end of the day, this is not an easy decision to make. It's not as simple as, hey, you need 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, like people think it is on the personal side. So in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through how to think about how much cash that you should hold in your business. And the best place to start is really classifying the type of business that you have. So let's start off with somebody like me. I am a financial planner. I own a business that has a lot of repeatable revenue. Basically, all my clients come back month to month. They're locked into a monthly revenue that they pay me, and I don't really have any concentration risk. If I lose any 5 or 10 clients, we still have more than enough revenue to pay my team, pay myself, etc. Because of that, I have less risk, right? Because of that, I have multiple clients, because I have recurring revenue and it's repeatable, I need to hold less in my business. So for businesses that are similar to me, you might only need to keep 1 month of expenses in there. If you feel like that's a risk and that makes you worried and you want to hold 2 or 3 months of expenses, I don't think that's a problem. But make sure the cash you're holding in your business is getting a yield. That could be in treasuries, it could be in money market funds, it could be in a high yield savings account. But at the end of the day, when you're holding a lot of cash, you want to get a yield on it. Okay, so let's move to another type of business. Let's go one step past this. So let's say that you are still a service business, but you only have a few clients. Maybe you have 4 or 5 clients, they make up your whole revenue, they're locked into 6-month or 12-month contracts. Well, you have a little bit more risk, right? If you lose 2 or 3 of those clients, you might not be able to pay payroll, you might not be able to pay yourself. And when those contracts end, you might not have signed new clients. Because you have an added level of risk, that's gonna push you up this side and mean that you should probably hold more in cash reserves. And so a lot of times, you're gonna wanna hold anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And I think expenses is something that you really wanna look into, right? This is different for every business. Some businesses, when they look at expenses, they just look at operations. So, hey, this is my salary, this is how much it costs for our tech, our office, etc. Other people want it to be like for bonuses, they want it to include added marketing spend, events, etc. That really depends on the person and what you would do if you lost revenue. A lot of times it does make sense to say, hey, if I didn't have revenue, here's the things I would cut back on. So I want my emergency fund to align with what I would cut back to. So for this group, I would say somewhere between 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. It could probably be closer to 3, but again, if you feel some risk there and you feel worried, going closer to 6 is gonna be a good option for you. Okay, let's take a step even further. Let's say that you have a product-based business, and let's say that product-based business is seasonal, right? Like you maybe make most of your money in Q4 around Christmas, and then people buy in New Year's sales in Q1. So about all of your revenue comes in 2 parts of the year. If you're a business like this, you have a lot of risk. What if a new product comes and takes over and people buy less? What if you have to ramp up a ton on spending on advertising leading up to it? What if just less people buy this year? What if you have product malfunctions or something happens and there's wait times? You might need a lot more cash. So for businesses like this, you might end up needing anywhere from 9 to 12 months worth of expenses built up. And this is sometimes where people are like, whoa, that's a lot of cash. And at the end of the day, it is a lot of cash. But statistically, 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. And the number one reason is because of cash flow management. They spend too much, they didn't save enough, they took dollars out, allocated elsewhere. You don't want this to be you. At the end of the day, the best thing that you can do for your finances is keep your business going, operating, and cash flowing so you can take that money and continue to build up other assets outside of it. So yes, 9 to 12 months might feel like a lot, but once you get that built up, you typically don't have to keep saving into it unless you dip into it. The other thing I'll say is this type of business I'm talking about now, if you have years and years and years of data, you can start to take down that amount because hey, here's the worst 3 or 6 month period of time I have. Let's make sure our emergency fund is aligned to support something like that. But if you're like 1 or 2 years in and you don't have a lot of data, a lot of times keeping more cash on hand is beneficial. So that way you don't end up running out of money. But data can help you make better decisions. And early on, you just don't have that data. So at the end of the day, when you're trying to figure out how much cash to hold in your business, you really need to break it down by a few things. One of them is the type of the business you have, the risk that you have, right? High cash flow, high profit businesses with repeatable clients, they need less. If you have more seasonal and less clients and more products, you're gonna need a lot more cash. And then you also wanna intertwine how you feel about holding cash, right? If you get really worried not having a lot of cash, hold more. If you really hate holding a ton of cash, potentially hold a little bit less on that range. So if it's 3 to 6 months, maybe you'll fall closer to that 3-month range. But at the end of the day, you want to survive, you want to keep money on hand, and with that cash you're holding, make sure it's getting a yield with the current rates that we have. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and go subscribe to my channel for more personal finance content. And as always, please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I promise to get back to every single one of them. We'll see you back next week.